Welcome to the Armani Talks YouTube channel. I'm your host, Armani Talks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills for you to improve your way with words. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome aboard. In this channel, I drop 3 weekly videos on topics ranging from public speaking, social skills, storytelling, and much more. If those subjects interest you, be sure to hit that subscribe button right on below, along with that bell notification so you never miss another video again. If you're a returning viewer, be sure to check out my new book, Wordplay, 101 Short Stories, Essays, and Insights for you to improve your communication skills. Within this book, you're going to get practical insights on how to stop being a people pleaser, how to cultivate thick skin so you could deal with high pressure moments, the science of humor, and how to sharpen your communication so you could improve your personal and professional life as well. Wordplay is currently available on Amazon, and you can check it out by going through the links in the description box and the pinned comment right on below. With that being said, let's break down the psychology of self-deprecating humor. Is it self-depreciating or self-deprecating? I don't care. What I do care about is that this type of humor is when a person is predominantly making fun of themselves. And I came to see that there seems to be this unanimous decision regarding this type of humor. It's bad. You need to avoid it. And if you're someone that's doing it, then you're on the wrong path in your social skills journey. In my opinion, I have a much different look on this type of humor. Is it good? Is it bad? I would say that it depends. And in today's episode, I'm going to be giving you a very nuanced take in regarding this type of humor. Certain people can use it to success. Other people should flat out avoid it. For you to understand the psychology of self-deprecating humor, what I want you to ask yourself is making fun of someone bad? Answer that question. Because if you're like most people out there, you just nodded your head like this, like a bobblehead doll. I'm going to tell you a story that making fun of someone is not always bad. Sometimes it's extremely strategic. By understanding this story, it's going to transition us into understanding the psychology of this type of humor. So if you're ready and excited for today's story, go on and drop that like for me right on below. A couple of years ago, I was going to be throwing this massive tailgate for this organization that I was in. Basically, the 2 great colleges within Florida at that time, our football teams were going head to head, USF and FSU. This was going to be a big rivalry, and plenty of people were coming to this tailgate. If you don't know what a tailgate is, it's pretty much the pregame to the actual football game. And a lot of the times, people place a lot more importance on the tailgate. So this was a lot of pressure. If this event did not go well, then a lot of people would be talking about how our organization fell off. I was going to be the person that was coordinating this entire event. So for the next couple of months, there was a lot of work that needed to be done. A lot of plates needed to be spun. At one point, I was talking to the people who were in charge of food. The next moment, I had to get the right DJ, get the right music. We had to get the place booked out. So much plates were just being spun left and right. What got me through that was knowing that on the actual tailgate day, I wasn't going to be doing any kind of work. I was just going to be chilling the entire time. That's what just got me through those months and months of working hard. On the actual tailgate day, we arrive, me and the organization, and we slowly start to see more and more people coming in. Eventually, I find this guy named Nick. I don't like Nick. The reason I don't like Nick is because he's very lazy. He makes a lot of excuses, very low energy, and through the entire build-up for the tailgate, he did not put in any work at all. And here he is on the actual tailgate day thinking he's just going to enjoy himself. Not so fast. I told Nick that he had a job to do on this event. He was going to be the cameraman. So I give him this very expensive camera. I tell him to start taking pictures and come back to me in 15 minutes to let me see the pictures just to make sure that he's taking them right. He was a little bummed out that he had to be working on this big event, but he followed orders. Within the next 10 minutes, he took some pictures, he came back and he showed it to me. It was awful. The pictures were blurry, people were cropped off, and there was so much empty space in the background. I knew what he was trying to do. He was intentionally trying to mess up so he didn't have to work. Not so fast, Nick. I'm gonna train you. Within the next 15 minutes, I trained him how to use the camera properly and told him to take pictures again, then come back. 15 minutes later, he comes back. He smells like weed. He smells like Hennessy. And he just smells bad. I look at Nick, I'm like, man, are you drunk? Nick's like, no, man, I'm not drunk. I got mad. This was an extremely expensive camera, and I'm not gonna let him break it or something like that. So I snatched the camera from him, and I was like, fine, I'll be the cameraman for the event. I guess I gotta work. So in the beginning stages, I was taking pictures of different groups of people with a very poor attitude. But as I was taking more and more pictures throughout the event, I started to notice very general patterns. I started to notice that whenever I would ask someone, hey, do you want to take a picture? Momentarily, their body language would completely change. It's like momentarily, they felt like this celebrity that was being asked for signing an autograph or something. They were like, yeah, okay. The girls started to fix up their hair. The guys were flexing like they had some muscles. And momentarily, I came to understand that the person who took the pictures at an event had some sort of power to influence. So the more and more I was taking pictures, eventually the more powerful I felt. And the more powerful I felt, the more comical I felt. Later on, I noticed myself just gradually making fun of people. Not in a very malicious way, but in a completely joking way. Sometimes when I would ask a group of girls, hey, would you guys like to take a picture? They'd say yes. Now they're over here putting on lipstick, their blush, eyeliner. And I just make a small joke like, come on, ladies, y'all ain't some Victoria's Secret models. You're just taking a quick little picture. Just a casual little joke. And every single time I was making a joke, it's as though that rapport was being built more and more. Sometimes I was just flat out making fun of them with a smile on my face, and still, they liked it. It was like this rapport was being built. And I noticed that as more pictures were being taken, every now and then when I would make fun of the people, they would get more engaged and they'd invite their friends to take pictures as well. They'd pull out their phones and Snapchat me taking pictures. So I felt as though I discovered this formula. Make fun of people when you have a camera. So I was doing this for at least hundreds of different people. And eventually, I see this one girl that's chilling by herself. I go up to her and I do my formula. I'm like, why are you by yourself? You don't have any friends or anything? With a big smile on my face. She didn't like that. She got very, very irritated that I made a comment like that. And she was like, who are you to speak to a woman like that? Don't you have any respect for women? And you could tell that she was very irritated by her body language. What the heck? This worked with all these different people. How come my move is not working with her? And that's when I decided that I was just gonna apologize. I took the picture and then I left. And then I started to understand why she behaved so differently than the other people. It's because she was in a different circumstance. All these other people that I was taking pictures of, they were in groups. They were all building that camaraderie from the very get-go. But this girl was by herself. So when I made that joke like that, it probably stung her because she felt an element of truth. So I came to realize just because I had the camera and I noticed that making fun of all these different people worked, it wasn't always going to work. And similarly, that's the same concept with self-deprecating humor, where with certain groups, it's going to work perfectly like it did with the prior groups, but with other individuals, it's going to get that same reaction like that girl gave me, where she got extremely irritated. So for the rest of the video, I want to break down two different parts regarding self-deprecating humor. For the first half, I want to talk about who should use this move. And for the second half, I want to talk about who should avoid this move. First part, who should use this move? The people that should leverage self-deprecating humor are people that are highly confident, are extremely handsome or beautiful, are extremely wealthy, or in some part of their life, they're just extremely elevated. The reason that these people every now and then should bust out poking fun of themselves just a little bit is because whether you're aware of it or not, people are very jealous creatures on autopilot. So let's say you're an extremely handsome individual and you're walking around. And you're not just a traditional handsome individual. You have a nice jawline, big shoulders, huge height. And most people that you're interacting with have a no jawline. They're a little chubby, they're a little short. Subconsciously, when they're interacting with you, in a logical world, it would be, wow, look at this awesome looking specimen. I admire this person. That's a logical world. We live in an illogical world where the person is going to be like, look at this guy, all tall, jawline, in shape. Something has to be wrong with him though. No one is that perfect. And they're subconsciously just building jealousy, because that's all jealousy is. It's when there's a flux in terms of social value, where one person perceives themselves to be vastly lower than someone else in a certain desire that they have. So in this situation, if the extremely good-looking person every now and then does some self-deprecating humor, such as, back in the days, man, don't tell anyone, I used to be extremely ugly. I used to be 5'3" for so long in my life. I used to have these big Harry Potter glasses. I wore my pants to my chest. Just embarrassing. Heck, I have a picture. You want to see? As they're making fun of themselves, they're slowly reducing this gap more and more and more. Now they seem more human to this other person. Now you may be like, well, I'm a good looking person. Why do I care what other people are self-conscious about? That's not my problem. I know that it's not your problem. And for the most part, you don't have to do anything about it. But if you're constantly coming in engagement with these people, just understand that this humor is a tool. And if you're going to constantly be dealing with them and you want to influence them in one way, shape, or form, at least humanize yourself just a little bit so there's less tension in getting what you want. So this is the type of people that should be using self-deprecating humor in one way, shape, or form every now and then. Don't do it too much, because now you just come off looking like a weirdo. But every now and then, if you're extremely wealthy, if you have extremely high social status, this allows you to be human. Now for the second part, for the people who should avoid it, these are the people with very little confidence. It's as simple as that. I made a video a while back regarding the psychology of the nervous laughter. I'll link it right on here and in the description box right on below. And the basic summary regarding that video was, anytime that we're nervous in an interaction, we start to falsely assign value to sound. We think that sound measures the success of a social interaction. So anytime we're laughing, we're thinking that the sound is making other people like us more. This is false. What decides whether or not someone likes us more is if we take the spotlight off of us and we put it on the other person. Do not measure social success based off of sound. Measure it off of how well you made the other person feel important. That was the basic summary of the video. And likewise, with self-deprecating humor, someone who's poking fun of themselves a lot and they have low self-confidence, instead of sound, they're using humor as a great way of building camaraderie. Normally, that's the case. Yes, humor is a great facet. But in this situation, your delivery is off because your self-worth is off. When your self-worth is off, now you just come off as cringe. Avoid this move completely and find a different way to be funny. You see, self-deprecating humor for a very low confident individual is like negative visualization for an individual who cannot properly concentrate. Negative visualization is basically when you're capable of envisioning the worst and you rising above anyways. This is a brilliant form of visualization for people who can concentrate. Because if you can't concentrate, you're just going to keep envisioning the worst, but you don't have the mental faculties capable of seeing yourself rise regardless. Avoid negative visualization completely until you could actually just visualize an apple, something simple. And likewise, if you're someone who doesn't consider yourself confident, avoid making fun of yourself completely. Okay? You're probably not being funny. Most likely, you're being cringe. So I talked about a lot in this episode. So let me just compress it down to the main ideas. Is self-deprecating humor bad? Not really. For certain groups of people, it's a strategic tool. And for the group that it's a strategic tool for are individuals who are extremely elevated in a certain facet of life. For people who lack self-confidence, they should avoid this move entirely and find ways to cultivate their confidence and find different ways to be humorous until they join this group of someone who is extremely elevated in a certain facet of life. Then, every now and then when they poke fun of themselves, it's going to be warm, not weird. If you want more in-detail breakdowns like this that I provided in today's episode, Wordplay has 101 versions of them. This book is currently at a complete 5-star rating. So if you've already purchased it, leave a review. If you haven't, then be sure to check out the book in the description box right on below. Thank you for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel, and I will catch you on the next episode.